Welcome back, warriors. I'm going to tell you something bold, and I want you to hear it with everything in you. God doesn't bless the lazy, He doesn't anoint idleness, and He doesn't rain favor on people who are sitting on their hands waiting for life to change while doing absolutely nothing. This video is for the man or woman who knows they've been called for more, but they're feeling stuck. Stuck in excuses, stuck in procrastination, and also stuck in spiritual passivity. But that ends today. I'm going to give you 7 power-packed steps to break free from lazy faith and step into disciplined, spirit-powered grind mode. Make sure to stick around to the very end for the most important step. If you're ready to stop playing games with your calling and finally live like the warrior God created you to be, then this message is for you. Subscribe now if you're serious about building discipline, walking in courage, and becoming the hardest worker in the room, topped with humility and Holy Spirit fire. Let's dive in. Step 1. Kill the lie. Faith is not laziness in disguise. Let's talk about one of the biggest lies that has crept into Christian culture today. The idea that waiting on God means doing nothing. The idea that faith means we sit around, cross our fingers, pray a little, and expect God to hand us everything like He's a divine vending machine. You've heard it, maybe even said it yourself. I'm just waiting on God to open the door. If it's meant to be, it'll happen. Or God will do it in His timing. God's timing is perfect, but God's timing does not excuse your laziness. Think about Noah. God told him a storm was coming, and this is something the earth had never even seen before. Did Noah sit back and say, "All right, God, I'll wait for the clouds"? No, he picked up a hammer and he built an ark with his bare hands. He did this by faith, and he did this for years. Also while people mocked him and there were no rain. That's not just belief, but that's faith in motion, and God-fueled discipline. That is also the kind of faith that builds when nothing makes sense. James 2:17 reminds us, faith without works is dead. Step 2. Understand that God's favor rests on the faithful, not the idle. God doesn't bless potential, but He blesses faithful obedience. You can have dreams, talent, charisma, a vision board, and a 5-year plan. But if you're not moving, working, or building, it's nothing but dust in the wind. Favor is not random, and it's not just falling out of the sky onto people who wait long enough. But favor follows those who faithfully move forward, not perfectly, but faithfully. Look at Joseph. This man was sold into slavery by his own brothers, thrown into a pit, dragged into Egypt, also falsely accused and locked in prison. But never once did he stop being faithful. He didn't sit in that prison cell crying, "God, why me?" But he got to work. He managed the prison, he served, and he interpreted dreams. Not only did he work, but he worked with excellence, in the dark and with zero recognition. That is where God met him. Not when he was complaining, but when he was faithful in the hardest room of his life. Catch that. From the pit to the prison, then the palace. That is where favor fell. Some of y'all want palace-level purpose, but you're not willing to be faithful in the prison season. You're waiting for the mic, but you won't sweep the floor. You're waiting for your name to be known, but won't serve in silence. You want stage lights, but won't walk faithfully when no one's watching. Proverbs 10:4 says, "Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth." Remember, be diligent with what you've already been given. Step 3. Work like it's already yours, because God is watching your effort. Listen up, warrior. This right here is where most people tap out. Not because they don't have the vision, but because they refuse to show up day after day without seeing results. They want victory with no sweat, promotion with no process, but that's not how God operates. He watches your grind in the shadows before He promotes you in the light. Colossians 3:23 says, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for men." That's not a suggestion, but that's a command. Step 4. Discipline is a spiritual weapon. Do you want to be spiritually strong with bold faith? Do you want to be the hardest worker in the room with humility and God's hand on your life? Then you need to understand this. Discipline is how you train your flesh to obey the Spirit. You think the enemy fears someone who just talks about faith. No, but he shakes at the one who lives in it, day in and day out, in the dark or in the light, with no spotlight and with no applause. Discipline is how you crucify your flesh. It's how you silence your excuses. and it's how you kill the part of you that wants to sleep in, give up, shrink back, and stay soft. The strongest people aren't the ones who feel like it, but they're the ones who show up when they don't. Step 5. Pressure reveals preparation, not potential. When pressure hits, you don't rise to the level of your potential, but you fall to the level of your preparation. Everyone loves to say, "I was made for this," but let's be honest, were you trained for this? Because pressure doesn't lie. Storms don't care about your plans, and spiritual warfare doesn't pause for your feelings. The truth is, pressure is the great revealer. It exposes whether your faith is rooted or only filled with recycled quotes. It shows whether you've been training your character or just building your platform. It doesn't matter how strong you say you are, because pressure will test your soul. This is simple, and most people overcomplicate this. But if you want to be bold, then build bold habits. And if you want to stay calm under pressure, then prepare like pressure's coming, because it is. Step 6. Stop asking God to do your job. Let's get something clear. God will never do for you what He's commanded you to do. Too many people are on their knees begging God to move a mountain when He already told them to climb. You say, "God, take this temptation away," but He said, "Flee from it." You say, "God, give me peace," but He said, "Knock." Look, prayer is powerful, but it was never meant to replace obedience. It's meant to fuel it. Some of us are using prayer as a stall tactic when God is calling us to take action. Exodus 14:15. God tells Moses at the Red Sea, "Why are you crying out to me? Tell the people to move forward." Let that hit you. Sometimes God's answer isn't more comfort, but it's a command to move. Step 7. Breakthrough belongs to the relentless. Now listen closely, because this is what it all builds up to. God doesn't bless laziness, but He blesses the relentless. He's not looking for the most talented. He's looking for the one who wakes up early, prays harder, grinds longer, and stays faithful even when nobody's watching. That's the person He can trust with favor. That's the person who won't fold under pressure, who won't break under burden, and who won't quit when it's not glamorous. You want divine favor? Then you need divine discipline. You want spiritual breakthrough? Then put in spiritual repetition. Favor isn't random. It follows those who sweat in obedience and move in faith when it's hard, not just when it's easy. Galatians 6:9. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Stay vicious, stay victorious, and remember, you are a warrior. Like, share, and subscribe for more inspiration. Catch you in the next one.